Let me come to this COVID-19 crisis, which emerged suddenly in the month of March. But in fact, the seeds of there were visible right from the month of January itself. And many of the institutions were very were taking precautionary measures and all that. But by February end, it was getting clear that this is going to be a long battle. And the Prime Minister, when he announced the first lockdown and then the continued second lockdown, the third one now, I think we are more or less got used to the lockdown scenario and work from home culture, which you narrated in the beginning. But a few important things which we should realize is technology had great potential. We today talk about Industry 4.0 and also Education 4.0, where the person who wants to take education is the king. That is, customer is the king. And similar to in Industry 4.0, how do we connect? There we connect devices with the various types of either human beings or also robots. Here we want to connect human beings to human beings using technology. And that's why in Education 4.0, we were already talking about, depending on the interest of the student, what type of courses he wants to take, what electives he wants to take, he needs to get that right at his doorsteps, at his home, in his room, in his college and university. So few things which already started even before COVID-19 crisis was about the platform called as Swayam. The MHRD AICT created the platform where today there are more than 2,500 courses in all domains, right from art, commerce, science, engineering, management, law, medicine, and so on and so forth, for students to both for learning purpose and also for credit transfer. 20% of the credits are allowed to be taken through this medium. We also have similar platforms all over the world, whether it is MIT edX platform, Coursera, and on YouTube, on internet. We have a variety of material that is available, which otherwise faculty used to teach in the class. So the way teaching learning process used to take place was already making a difference and making a change in terms of students being not interested in sitting for 1 hour class where a faculty member continuously lectures, and therefore the concept of flipped classroom or blended classes had already taken roots. Maybe not all institutes, but many institutes had started practicing talking about this, in which the student is already asked what topic is going to be covered on the next day. Students would be given certain videos and classes to be taken in from the internet, come prepared, and depending on who has not understood what part of the syllabus, faculty member will explain those kind of things and then actually interact in the class. So heavy interaction was one of the things which was happening in such kind of classes. But in management education, this topic being for management, the concept of case study and students learning that case study and coming and discussing in the classroom was already happening. May not be using technology, but using either the case studies which were in the form of printed medium, PDF files, whatever, and then they were doing it. Today we have transformed that into a sort of visual medium, that is audio visual medium, through which one can learn something and come to the classroom. So this was already beginning to happen, but this process has been accelerated thanks to COVID-19 crisis, that about 60 to 70% of the syllabus of the current academic year and semester was already over. Remaining was to be covered. So institutions who had the wherewithal in terms of infrastructure, they could take off immediately. Others had to adjust, manage, and then start off. So I think that is one big difference which has made in terms of teaching learning process, that we can use technology, leverage that for reaching out to students. And interestingly, I will come to some other issues little later, but also examination. We always thought examination means you have to sit in a classroom with one bench for one student, and then probably write examination for 3 hours. And this whole model is also getting collapsed. The reason being, we have been talking, at least AICT with its examination reforms, which was brought in about 3 years ago, and several workshops for faculty were already held in terms of how higher levels of learning are to be evaluated from among students. because most of the question papers from I always refer to KG to PG, right from KG class to the postgraduate class. They are all based on rote learning. Is so much so that A for apple, B for ball is all taught right from KG. And then the questions are of the similar nature, and one who answers that will get marks. Who slightly innovates and write in his own words something different, many a times gets less marks, or sometimes some teachers don't even appreciate that. So from that, moving upwards, in terms of Bloom's taxonomy, how do we have questions which are actually knowledge or understanding based, how application based questions are asked, how analysis and synthesis based question papers are to be set, how we can see whether a student is innovative, whether he has creativity. I think how do we test such traits amongst the students is a very important thing which was missing in our examination system, and these reforms were already in place. We were carrying out the workshops. Now this is an opportunity, and now that there cannot be a 3-hour examination by sitting in one place, we will have to innovate, and therefore a lot of innovations happen, either in terms of objective type questions, or in terms of having a Skype interview and testing whether student has understood something, giving a project for students to do online, because in life outside after the graduation, when someone is working in a corporate world, there are different countries where a particular project is handled jointly, and whether it is time zones of different countries are there, we interact with them and then continue to analyze a problem and try to solve that problem. How the same experience can be given to students while that was a challenge, and now this has forced us to do that. Many teachers were saying this is not possible, this is not fine, but now every faculty member is almost forced to adopt online learning, online examination. Now I would like to reflect upon many a faculty who were not on board that we have conducted. I was just counting 38 workshops in the last 2 months, and each one of them are 5-day workshops, some of them parallelly being held, and these were in 3 important domains. AICT had one important philosophy, that student induction program for freshmen, first year students when they join the college, especially undergrad. I'm not talking about postgrad education, but undergrads need to get familiarized with the entire, not only system, but have to appreciate the reasoning, the capacity building, learning, lifelong learning, value-based education, all of that, and therefore, and also physical exercises and games. So we have a very robust 3 weeks induction program developed, and we had several training programs for faculty to handle this. And what happened is we were always having 3-day workshops, 5-day workshops, 8-day workshops for faculty, train the trainers program. But suddenly all the programs which we had already scheduled, they had to be cancelled because we couldn't travel, we can't come to one place. What we call social distancing or physical distancing being maintained. This was now going to be not possible. So we innovated and said, why can't we use the platforms like Zoom, Microsoft Team? We have Google also giving certain opportunities, WebEx platform of Cisco. All these 4 platforms were used in different ways for engaging in these kind of workshops. Started with some 100 faculty, 200 faculty, and like today there are 474 participants already on board here, and we had workshops where we had 3,000 faculty simultaneously going through that. So that is one part as far as student induction program. Similar thing we did on examination reforms, which I just now narrated, how we set question papers based on all these 6 domains of Bloom's taxonomy. This was also handled again in terms of large numbers. We have 3rd types of workshop, which is very relevant to Industry 4.0. That is the curriculum where we have introduced AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, 3D printing, blockchain, cyber security, cloud computing, data analytics. All these courses having got introduced into the curriculum, faculty who themselves graduated 10, 20, 30 years back needed to be trained in these domains. And so under what is known as Atal Academies. Atal, by the way, stands for AICTE's Training and Learning Academies. That abbreviation becomes our former Prime Minister's name, Atal Academies. So under these academies, we had scheduled 200 workshops during last year. We had just completed 185 and then we had to close down. So we decided to go again online, and those workshops were also held in the same mode using these platforms and technologies, and we have moved ahead. We not only completed those remaining ones, but this year our target was 500, and we don't know when we are going to totally open up. So 85 such programs are already scheduled in the next 2 months. So I think we have completed around 40 programs like this, 4 days, 5 days duration, and many more are in the pipeline. So I think this is a big change which has happened, and it has been very convincing that effectiveness of these workshops may not be 100% same as face-to-face mode. We understand that, because the attention of a person will be completely 100% 24/7 with the faculty who is training them, because they are inside the same location. But in this mode, sometimes we may go for a cup of tea and come back without the knowledge of the trainer. But forget about it. Most important thing is all these workshops are voluntary. And when people join on their own without being the compulsion or force upon them, I'm sure that that passion will make them learn it at a better pace and with full, kind of commitment that we desire in terms of such workshops. So I think these are big changes which have happened. I will now reflect upon two other things and stop, so that we will give enough opportunity for viewers to ask questions. The number one was when this COVID-19 crisis cropped up and lockdown was announced on the 25th of March. Within 4 days, we were receiving several emails and phone calls from students who got locked down. Either they were not able to reach home, or wherever they got stuck. So there were problems of accommodation, there were problems of food, about transport, medicine, healthcare, and some of them suddenly found requirement of counseling, psychological counseling, because they felt alone. So we created a portal called Helpline, AICT Helpline, where we requested institutions, philanthropists, and the social and voluntary organizations who were willing to provide 14 different types of supports, and students who wanted this. So it was like matchmaking. So in a given district or a town, who are the persons who are ready to give you help in transport or in terms of food or in accommodation, and thousands of students got help through this. So this is the power of technology which I was saying. So I think this is what is to go forward. Then we have a very important initiative started about 5 months back, which was called National Educational Alliance for Technologies, in short NEET. And under this, many startups and many companies who had developed niche products, which were essentially AI-based personalized learning tools, they were all on board. And for every one product which cost about starting from about 4,000, 5,000 rupees to some of the products cost 40,000 rupees, very high-end, highly employable kind of skill sets. So they were all on board, and for every 4 seat a procurement takes place. That means seat is bought by some student. 1 seat was free for those who are economically poor, SC, ST and OBC students. So this was the model. But when the COVID-19 crisis happened, we requested most of them, and many products which were actually for cost, they released it free of cost. And by looking at it, many others who were not onboarded onto this platform of NEET, they started writing emails. So please look at our product. We are also ready to give free. So I am very happy that as far as the Coursera and MIT edX have also requested us that we will provide free certification during this transit period. And as many as 39 products are already on board within 1 week, and then it continued. And today there are 49. So I think people, when requested and there is a challenge, we help each other is one phenomenon which we have realized in our country. You talked about people being appreciative of the gurus and teachers, they are also appreciative of those who help each other. And that is why all the COVID-19 warriors, whether it is a Safai Karmachari, whether it is a doctor or nurse, or whether it is a cop standing in the sun, or anyone who is associated with this crisis and serving us, have been respected, and we all look at that as one of the noble opportunities for serving the nation. So I think this is all going on. Internships are also available now online, because now people cannot go to an industry and to do internship. So we have opened up a portal where industries put their requirements. Some of the students join that. They are under mentorship of some industry person, and they can do the internship as well. So I think this is where we stand. Now, my last appeal to most of the management people who are on board today in this particular participation list, post-COVID, we have learned a great deal from out of use of technology. We will certainly continue to do that. But one of the greatest opportunities management schools have is to have new case studies on how we reacted to COVID-19 crisis.